Did you know about the symphony that played in Leningrad at the height of the German siege of the city in World War II? When Russian conductor Karl Eliasberg received instructions to rehearse Shostakovich's new symphony, he didn't know what to do, because only 15 people were left from her orchestra. The city was under siege and bombardment by the Germans. These 15 people were starving, and some of them didn't even have working instruments. First try of the rehearsals broke up after 15 minutes, as the musicians had no energy. They needed more people, and Soviet authorities sent an order to the battle lines near the city for all musicians to report for rehearsals. Soldiers came from the battle lines and joined the rehearsal between their military assignments. The siege was getting worse as the time went on. With supplies being cut off, the citizens of Leningrad resorted to eating animals such as rats, horses, dogs, cats. There were even reports of cannibalism. German Air Force Luftwaffe was bombing the city at the time. There were bodies all over the place with no one to bury them. But Karl Eliasberg wanted strict discipline. He was cutting the bread ration of the musicians who played their instruments badly, or people who were late to rehearsals, even if they were late because they were burying their dead family members. Orchestra rehearsed 6 days a week. In the end, they were ready to play. At 9 August 1942, Soviet army bombed the German lines to silence the German guns. They did this so the orchestra could play the symphony without being interrupted. The orchestra did play it without being interrupted. It was relayed all over the city, and even to the German lines, using loudspeakers that was set up. It was such a moral boost for the citizens of Leningrad. Shostakovich dedicated the symphony to Leningrad citizens who endured so much hardships during the siege. Soviet army broke the siege in 1944, 2 years later. A survivor recalls this about the event. And then suddenly there was a storm of applause. A girl came up from the audience with a bunch of flowers. She gave them to the conductor. Can you imagine fresh garden flowers during the blockade? He was unbearably joyful. The music became Shostakovich one of the most well-known works. Symphony No. 7. It is also known as Leningrad Symphony. Thank you for listening to me, and let's meet next week.